Hey, Skiba News Nation family, we have a very special guest today. He was great friends with my dad and our family. So please welcome our friend, Dave Weiss. Welcome.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I think this is the first time we've spoken, but
Yeah,
your dad was and is a great man, and was responsible for a lot of people seeing the world in a different way, including me.
thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot.
Yeah.
So, how did you start this journey with the whole FE topic? Because when my dad started, he got a lot of backlash for it, and it really tore him up inside. But how did your journey start?
It started and it's still the same. The amount of backlash is never ending, and you just have to learn to take it for what it is. And if you fight against it, it's going to kill you. If you
Hmm.
just feng shui it, no feng shui. What's that judo move where you just move things with it? Um, and you understand that it's all energy going in the right direction, then the truth always wins. We are on the side of truth. That's what every crazy person says. Um, but when I first, I was into other deceptions of the world. People call them conspiracies. I just call them deceptions. Flat Earth came up, and I did what most people do: adamantly rejected it. Uh, Made fun of the people that suggested it, refused to watch any evidence, and refused to even look at my own heliocentric model. But then my friend Sophia Smallstorm, she made me look. She forced me to look, and I went in with a bad attitude of I'm just going to prove this wrong, and that's how you become a flat earther. And so then not too long after that, the first conference happened. I think that's where I met your dad in person, and it's a never ending journey from there.
That's awesome. So that's how you came to know my dad. My mom, I forgot to tell you this. She said hi. She
Okay.
uh, she was excited that we were having you on. But what are some experiments that you've done to prove this FE, or I call it biblical cosmology, or whatever you want to call it, the true cosmology of the Earth?
Yeah, here's the thing: flat earthers know way more about the heliocentric model than the people that think the Earth is a globe, because they don't know the model. Because if they did, they knew a tenth of what we know, they wouldn't be heliocentrists. They'd be like, wait a minute,
Hmm.
this is so dumb. This is the dumbest stuff ever. And so we admit there, there's things about our world that we don't know, and maybe that we'll never know, but we're always looking for answers. So one of the things I did, on a ball, there is a set physical curvature. Depending on the size of the ball, there is a limit to where you will see a physical horizon. And that limit, using their math and everything, is equal to the 8 inches per mile squared. And I bought a P900 at the time that had just come out, and I zoomed in on things that would should be, dozens of feet below the curve, and I could see them, and I could see water beyond them. And so I immediately jumped to, well, either the curve calculator is wrong or the Earth is bigger. And then we did experiments where we found we have measurements that would require the Earth to be 1,000 times bigger. Now, 1,000 times bigger, you'd have to multiply the number of continents by 1,000, perhaps. Okay,
Hmm.
so there'd be 8,000 continents or whatever. You know what? Funny, I don't even know how many continents they say there aren't anymore because they're lying. So
Yep.
it doesn't matter. So that's the most experiments that I've done, um, physically. I've been involved in other ones with other people, and collectively, put mostly long distance stuff.
Yeah, when me and our mutual friend Eddie Bravo, when we had him on, he was telling me his favorite video of my dad's, which is him proving with NASA and government documents about high altitude aircrafts and how they have to assume that they're on a non-rotating Earth, and that's what blew his mind.
All
And I was like, that
aircraft,
is so cool.
yeah,
Yep.
all aircraft has to treat the Earth as a flat, non-rotating plane, and if a pilot treated the Earth as a rotating plane, a rotating ball, as they're told, as they might believe it is, everybody would die. Think about you're flying from an airport in northern Alaska. Well, when you're sitting on the airport on the globe, that airport is circling the North Pole at about 300 miles an hour, right? To make that circle around the North Pole. Fly to Ecuador, and you want to land on a runway that's oriented north-south. That runway is moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour if you lived on a globe.
Mm-hmm.
How do you adjust for that? How do you adjust for
Right.
that? Right?
Right.
And the globe apologists, the globe trolls, they go crazy. And you can always, I used to go on shows and I would call myself Baller Dave, and I would just literally defend the globe, and I would just say anything, and I sound exactly like a glober. But this is what you have to think. Excuse me. This is the Earth. This is how a plane would circumnavigate the Earth, north and south, right? It's going
Right.
these like figure eight loops, right? Figure eight loops. Does that make any sense?
That's me.
Right. And then, but when you're flying, you're always on the top of the ball. So this is what you would see. But again, the Earth isn't spinning below you, but for some reason it doesn't, because you're traveling with it. But look at the stars. As you're diving over the ball, those stars are rising. This one's in front of you, and then soon, when you get a quarter of the way around the world, it'll be above you. Make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
No, it doesn't. I mean,
Yeah. So that makes sense. So let's take a look at reality, right? This is reality. Flying from Berlin to Brazil, 4,000 miles, and these stars aren't going up. Just when the plane turns, they move a little bit. They should be rotating up over your head. These stars on the horizon should be over your head. This is Google Earth saying, when you fly that route, this is what you should see. And these stars should just be rising up because you're diving over the ball. So Google Earth, which added curvature, I believe, in 2001 to their flat Google Earth program, versus reality.
Yep.
I mean, this alone is the globe killer. But you know what the thing is?
Wow.
There's 900 other this alone globe killers.
Wow. I like to say that the flat Earth topic is less of what the Earth is and more of what the Earth isn't. It's a conspiracy of debunking the lie that we've been told. And it's the combination of just poking holes in the theories that we were all taught that actually kind of leads us to what is the alternative. And nobody really has a true answer. However, we do know that what we've been presented from a very young age is absolutely false. And by the way, Dave, I just wanted to say hi. We've had the chance of interacting through the years at the FEIC conferences. We never got to know each other, but I've been a big fan of your work throughout the years. Just having your presentations up there behind you has been very powerful in all the different shows you've been on and stuff. So
I appreciate it. I do my best to, because of the YouTube censorship. I go on all these other shows that are not flat Earth, so they don't know. You can actually Google my name now and actually get some good results because it's all over the place. But they're doing everything they can to suppress it. And just one thing about the conferences, we didn't get to know each other. I do remember seeing you. Every time I go to a conference, I get nasty emails, or someone will comment, Dave Weiss, he's so stuck up, he wouldn't even talk to me. I was talking to him and he walked away. It's because everywhere I go, everyone's pulling me in every direction. I try to talk to everybody, and you just can't. Like, I don't even talk to my wife at the conference. I have zero time to talk to her. And it's just so if you ever see me at a conference and I blow you off, I'm not blowing you off. It's because 10 other people have already asked me to come over here and do this and do that. The best thing to do is, if you see me walking somewhere, walk with me. Then you got me. All right. So I love talking to everybody. It's just, I get every day, I get at least a dozen. I need to talk to you. Here's my phone number, emails. Okay. I don't have time to skim all the emails and delete them without even replying one word reply. Right. And so I can't do it all. I just do my best. Right? I used to look at celebrities and go, "Oh, those stuck up. They wouldn't even give me an autograph." Not that I ever asked for an autograph, but I get it. You can't do it all. So, um, glad to see you. Good to talk to you here. You got me for a solid hour, so it's all good.
Oh, all right.
Sweet.
Um,
Jeremiah.
Oh, well, I was just gonna ask if there are other, like, what are some other conspiracies that, I mean, everybody knows you from the flat Earth stuff, but what else fascinates you? Like, what are some other things that people may not know?
yeah, well, the thing that got me into conspiracies is what is money? I think I watched Money Masters. If you haven't seen that, it's pretty good. And I just realized like what the hell is money? And then I got into the Federal Reserve. Who the hell is the Federal Reserve? And that just started getting me going down the rabbit hole. And I started the podcast deep inside the rabbit hole. And just because we're on YouTube, we'll be careful what we say here. The event that happened 3 days after the 7th of September or the 8th of September, right?
Right.
The thing that happened at the marathon in Boston and the school that has a beach sounding name in Connecticut. And all these other things, when you start looking into these things and you actually have the courage to look and don't get caught in the emotions, they're not theories. They're proven events that weren't the way they told us.
Yep.
So that's some of them. The recent thing with the president got his ear. Just if you just look at all the evidence, I don't know what happened there, but all I know is everyone's getting it wrong. Everyone's falling for a narrative, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Me and Jake were talking about that just earlier, about that topic.
Yeah.
Well,
How
here's my
how
wait.
is
I'll give you my theory on why it happened. Not how they did it, who was involved. Ready? I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. But I might be,
Okay.
but I'm not kidding. Um, they did it to distract people from looking at flat Earth because they know when people wake up to flat Earth that this entire system of theirs collapses. They lose everything. Right? Flat Earthers don't get the thing poked in their arm. Flat Earthers
Hmm.
are awake and aware and unplugging from the system. And if everybody woke up overnight, they lose total control. So they need distractions. Okay. Is that really what happened? I don't know. Can't rule it out. But they're doing everything they can. This is the most important deception they have. The globe lie is the most important lie that they have because without it, they can't control us.
Yep. And all their other lies just kind of tell on themselves.
Yeah.
you pretty much read my mind. I was going to ask you, why is it that people who've altered their view of cosmology and the realm that we live, how come they're the ones not falling for all of these other conspiracies? I
You
mean,
know,
it's almost like we were prepared
it's
by questioning that, and it's prepared us to be all the more suspicious going forward.
it's amazing. I used to be asked the question, Dave, what everything can't be fake. Name something that's not fake. Yeah, and I really had to think about it. And I used to say, well, Sully landed that plane on the Hudson River after a bird strike. And then I found out that wasn't even true. So I don't even know what's true anymore. And here's the thing. I'm not going to say everything's fake, but if you want to get rich, anytime you hear a news story, bet it's fake and you'll win. You'll end up ahead. You'll end up ahead of the game when the truth comes out. So, what we're being told, and most truthers in this current situation are also falling down these little traps that they have to suck them into a narrative. Why? It's all about distraction. It's all about fighting. It's all about getting the world to disagree with each other, fight each other. They want to start a civil war. That way they can lock us down. They want us killing each other because I don't think they can kill us or they're allowed to kill us. They need us willingly to get sucked into their system.
We're in an age of alternative truth and alternative news. And so my question would be like, how do you differentiate from shills, is the loosely slung around term, and people that are actually digging in and revealing things that need to be investigated? Because I think everybody kind of got the bad taste in their mouth towards mainstream media. And so what the mainstream figured out is if we just present our actors and our presenters as alternative or as truthers, then we'll swoop that flock back in. And so how do you like navigate all of the truthers in today's world and not get led astray into some little niche topic or into a deception itself?
There's a lot of truthers out there that came out with some really strong evidence, but you really have to keep holding their feet to the fire and making sure that something didn't change. I think some truthers have been replaced, like the ones that you don't know who they are and don't see their faces and have really deep voices and have just come out of nowhere, lead to the top, and then all of a sudden they do a flip-flop. That to me is controlled opposition. There's plenty of people on the flat earth side that are just doing more damage than even the anti-flat earth trolls are doing. I don't think that there's that many people out there that have, guys in suits going, listen, hey, we're going to pay you and you're going to do this and you're going to be a shill. And there are those disinfo agents out there. There are a few of them, maybe a decent number, but everyone accuses, everyone of being a shill. Everyone's pointing fingers at everybody, and that's exactly what they want, right? And what I say is, let everybody do their thing. I don't care. You're a paid agent. You're just a possessed by evil disinfo person. Go ahead, do what you want, and everyone just do their best to put information out. The light always wins. You can't turn a darkness switch on. You can't, in a room of light, it's dark. You just bring a light into the room. It's a light. It lights up the whole room. The light wins. So there are some disinfo agents out there. They're clear who they are. They're the ones that are out there 24/7. And that they'll never admit defeat on anything. You can explain things to them, and then the next show they'll just deny ever knowing what you just said. There's without naming a name, one of the head guys out there goes, flat earthers can never prove how the sun could set on a flat earth. We've shown it a million times. It's absolutely not a theory. It's provable. It's shown. We've shown it. We've demonstrated it. We show it in reality, and they still deny it. They still deny it. It's amazing. So,
by the way, Jeremiah, your dad had a well put together kit that demonstrates exactly what Dave's talking about.
Yeah, the refraction kit.
Share about that.
The refraction kit's really cool. It's like we actually still build them. We mastered it. Excuse my cat right here. He's not leaving me alone. But it's I don't know exactly how to describe it, but there's a skyline and then magnification, and it shows with magnification. Yeah, there it is.
Yep, that's it. Right on Dave's screen.
Yeah. And so that's one way. It's not always everything. It's a combination of things. The sun is going away on the flat earth. So it is getting smaller, but the atmosphere is magnifying it as it's getting smaller. So it's a yin yang, right? So it kind of looks like it stays around the same size. Although depending on the atmosphere, it changes. Some days it gets smaller. Some days it gets bigger. Some days it stays the same. Right? But this is just showing you how this candle is just being dragged across this table here, but it looks like it's setting. Now add an atmospheric deck in there. Forget about it. It's so easy to see how a sunset works. It's ridiculous. It's all about perspective. This is a level line. You guys have seen this, right? This is my sun. I'm just making it across the level line. This could be mountains. It could just be clouds, whatever, but we're above it and it's going across. Let me just jump forward here. And now I have a camera on the table, which is a terrestrial camera filming that line. Same line, level. Same line. Yep. The sun does not go below this thing right here, but look, it's going beyond it.
Wow.
And when something's in the distance, it looks like it is going below it. It looks like it's going below it, right? And then, as I said before, if we look, this is it's just going away. This line is level. This is level, right? Globers can't fathom that. This sun is just going beyond the atmospheric deck of opacity right here. It's going beyond it, and it appears to be at your eye level. However, on a very clear day, this is the sun going away, and it's clearly getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because of just the atmospheric conditions, right?
Yep.
So there's then there's also, you guys have seen my sun fade outs. This is the sun was going down, 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 and it stopped. Now I don't care if it's out of focus. I don't care. It stopped. It should just keep on going if we're spinning. It should keep on going, but it sat here for almost 10 minutes. And as it's going away, it's taking its light with it. This is a super clear day, and it just takes its light with it. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and until it disappears.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and let me
The
just show you.
visuals are so important.
The visuals are real important, real important. However, I just was on Roseanne Barr, and we didn't have many visuals. I did give them some images afterwards, and it was a great conversation. It's a lot less stressful for me when I could just talk and explain things rather than try to pull up stuff while I'm talking, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to show you one more. So that's not it. Of course, as I'm saying it, I'm choking. Where is my building? All right. I have it somewhere. All right. So where is it? Wow, everything just moved. Give me 1 second. I'll get it. Okay, so that's not it. Where did it go? I have to look another. Where did it go? Maybe because it's under sunsets. What do you think of the sun fade out? You guys have seen that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't look like it's going down. It just looks like it's just
Stopped going down, and
going further. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing they could say is I photoshopped it, right? So then I did it again. I live streamed it, right? Then they say, well, it's not, you don't have a solar filter on. If I put a solar filter on, you wouldn't see the sun because it's not bright enough to push through a solar filter. So they want you to blind yourself from the most important point of when the sun gets down to your apparent eye level. What's the thing flat earthers say about the horizon? The horizon always, what are you going to say?
It's eye level.
Always rises to eye level.
Always rises to eye level. Yeah.
That's a false statement. It always appears to rise to eye level. But the truth is it's thousands and thousands of feet above your eye level. All right. And if I could
okay.
I'm gonna show you if I could find my stupid building. Where did it go? I have well, I'll just go with this instead. All right, so this is the sun going away, and this is just street lights going away, and maybe this is it. Nope. Oh, yeah. So this is what we just showed you before. A terrestrial perspective, a celestial perspective level, and it goes down. All right, and I just lost my entire thing. All right, so this is the old one. I'll just show you this one instead. All right, so here is, just jump forward. So here we got a guy, got a cloud above his head, right? So draw a string from his eyes to the cloud that goes way up like that, right? And then we make these clouds go into the distance and they merge with the horizon. But we know they're all at that same cloud level deck, right? So when he looks at the cloud over on the horizon and he could look at the string going from his eyes to the cloud, he sees that string parallel with the water, right? With me?
Yep.
But if you were underneath that cloud and could see the string, what would you see? This is you under the cloud. You would see a string going from 5,000 or 10,000 feet down to his eyes. But he sees it level because this cloud looks like it's at the horizon to him. Right? So this guy here, you're underneath the cloud. You can see from a different perspective. This guy, this is his line that's parallel with the water. This becomes his horizon. And as the sun moves away, it goes beyond. This cloud is going to block his view of the sun, and it just goes beyond it. But that's not how he sees. You have to remember, he sees like this, right? There's that cloud, and the sun is going to go here to get lower, and it's going to go beyond, not below, beyond the cloud, and he sees that as his globe Earth horizon.
Wow.
The concept of optics being apparent and how what we witness is very subjective to our location and the atmosphere around us. It's really interesting, the argument against the ball Earth model. It shows that we can't trust our eyes, and then the argument they spit back at us is, yeah, you can't trust your eyes, you know. It's really interesting how we have to break down what we witness with our eyes is not trustworthy, and identifying how that still can align with a scientific model. And then, of course, just like you said, they argue that, you know, we're witnessing a mirage or whatever.
Let me. I found the building. So we're in New York City. We're looking straight up, very tall building, and we got the. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Actually, the next one. We're looking straight up at this building, and the sun is like noon, right? 12:30, 1 o'clock, right? 1 o'clock, it goes beyond the building, right? So now you're standing on the street, and you can't see the sun when it goes. We'll just call it the 1 o'clock position. So when it goes right there, you can't see it. So now, where's the sun? Is it below the horizon, or is it beyond the building?
Beyond the building?
Simple. That's not a question. It's not a theory. It's very easy. People, you know, just it's very, very easy. It's beyond the building. So here is a perspective grid, right? Perspective, they teach us the ground ramps up, the top ramps down, the sides ramp in. It goes all to a point. But guess what? The back ramps in, right? The amount of space right here, if you look at 2 rows here, it's much less. It's all getting compressed forward also, right? So people don't realize that. So we have this guy here, and we put this mountain up. This mountain is, let's say it's 3,000 feet above his head. Okay. And the sun's up here above the mountain. Sun moves away. Is it below the mountain, or is it beyond the mountain? Think of the building.
It's beyond.
It's beyond. It just went beyond. Now, prove it. He could float up in the air on a balloon, and oh, there's the sun. Or he could go backwards. So he goes backwards. Let's take him backwards 20 miles. 20 miles away. I don't care if the Earth is flat or a globe, because the globe 20 miles, what's it, like 400 feet of curvature? This mountain's 3,000 feet above his eyes. It's still, this line here is 3,000 feet above his eyes, but it appears to be at eye level. The sun moves away and goes beyond it or below it. The answer is always beyond.
Beyond.
Right? So now we add the clouds. The clouds are higher than the mountain. The clouds ramp down and they merge into this line here. So now we have a mountain line, which is 3,000 feet above his head. The clouds are, let's say they're 3,000 feet above the mountain. So this line of opacity is 6,000 feet above his eyes. And the sun just goes beyond it. It appears to be at eye level. It just goes beyond.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Now, you can show this to an anti-flat earther, and they will ignore it, and they'll say, there's no way you can explain a sunset on a flat earth, right? Does this prove the earth is flat? Nope. It explains how a sunset happens on flat earth, because if the earth was a globe, besides us all being dead, you could have a sunset. You know, if we're on a spinning globe, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier how you think some of the current things going on, like the assassination attempt, could be because they're trying to cover up flat Earth. How close do you think flat Earth is to breaking into the mainstream? I know,
It's
you
huge.
know, after
You guys, sorry.
I was going to say 2018, 2019, we were getting on late night TV shows, Jimmy Kimmel, everybody was making fun of it. It was like the new funny thing to talk about. And then COVID hits. There was a much larger, more pressing conspiracy that kind of made it, fold back into the background. But now as that and the attention exposing that particular conspiracy has died down, how close are we? Please continue.
Yeah, I mean, and again, flat earthers have different opinions. Some people say it'll never happen in our lifetime. I don't see it not happening in 2024. It could happen. It could take a little bit longer. But I was just on Roseanne Barr. She's big, but let me tell you something. In a couple of months, that's not going to be considered big, right? Compared to some of the stuff that we're going to be getting on. I don't want to send the trolls spiraling, because they're spiraling over my appearance on Roseanne Barr. I mean,
dude, that was epic. That was so epic.
And
see
so
you on Roseanne.
Yeah, and it was really Flat Earth 101, because Eddie Bravo turned her on to Flat Earth. And she's like, whoa, she had this like aha moment. I made this little video, a clip of it, and it kind of went viral a little bit. And then she's like, Eddie told her to have me on, and she did, and it was amazing. And you're doing something right when the trolls are spiraling crazy.
Oh yeah.
So there's some other big shows, but let me tell you something. People laugh. Oh, Dave thinks that this whole thing with Trump was to stop Flat Earth. I was just about to go on a very big show, and they sidelined it for now because of the news. Okay, and rightly so. I get it. In this world, this is what they got to cover, right? But so I say it kind of jokingly, but it actually happened. It actually happened, right? It sidelined it for a little bit. They already know the Earth is flat. They just haven't realized how important this deception is, because it's the way they get away with everything, include from the ear, from the non-gushing blood ear to amazing, to everything else. It's because we're spinning out of control, disconnected from God, lost in space, living in lack, living in fear, and that's how they control us. So some bigger shows now are starting to understand, and they are willing to have the conversation.
That's awesome. Now, Roseanne,
that's really sweet to hear.
I love Roseanne because she gave my favorite stand-up comedian his first job. It was Norm Macdonald. So I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, and so many people have so many bad things to say about Roseanne now. Roseanne, it was she like broke the ice for women comedians. I grew up listening to her show. It was funny as hell. And she actually inspired me on my truth journey. I told it on Roseanne. I told it on the interview. She was running for president. I don't know, partly as a joke, but probably partially as real. And she didn't hold back. And I was just like, you know what? I guess I shouldn't hold back either. And that's what kind of made me start going forward from there.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
That's sweet. What is the best way for people to start getting connected with local flat Earth community meetups? Start to get to meet people in person. What would you suggest for any listeners that we have? How would they get connected?
All right, so thanks for the tee up. Everyone's going to accuse me of telling you to say that, but that's not the case at all.
Yeah, we didn't set that.
My Flat Earth Clock app, which you can find at flatearthdave.com. It's a $3 app, and then there is a subscription for $11 a year, which you don't have to get. It gives you all the information you need. But some of the higher functions, you might want to do that. You can earn a free subscription too, just by telling people about the app. But here is the Meetup Maker, and a lot of people don't realize this yet. You hit the Meetup Maker. Whoops, you know what? I just installed this, so give me 1 second. Give me 1 second to just get this going. Hold on 1 second. Say something while I'm typing.
Well, just on the topic of breaking into the mainstream and all these big shows, big names, and personalities, I really think it's the people that can overcome the stigma against the flat Earth title and even being called a conspiracy theorist by all the trolls and all that. If they're willing to put their neck on the line, so to speak, and risk it, just like guys like you, guys like Rob over the years, when they finally crossed over to questioning cosmology, they were willing to risk quite a lot.
Yeah.
Whether it's your audience, following you along. But whenever you see people with these big followings, these big syndicated shows or whatever, willing to have the conversation, it's pretty encouraging. I mean, it gives me hope for the future. If there's not any more giant false flags to totally, squash out any possible alternative view of cosmology. But
All right, so on the Meetup Maker, I'm testing a new version of the app. You can go and you can sort by date, you can sort by location. Just say, hey, anything within 100 miles, anything within 500 miles. I just sorted by date, and you can scroll from meetup to meetup. These are meetups that people are having, and anybody can put one on here. If you're having a small meetup, and let me tell you something: if you schedule a meetup and 2 people show up, you now have 2 best friends that are local to you. Right. Mm-hmm. And so these are just meetups that are happening across the world right now, because I just did Sort by Date, which gives you everything. Flat Earth Social, which I just did in the UK. It's every the last Tuesday in every month, I believe. Awesome ones. But very important on here, if you go to the bottom, it says alert me to local meetups. If you click that and you select your radius, I have it set for 1,000 miles right now just because I'm curious, put in my email address. And that way, anytime anyone schedules a meetup within that radius, I get an email with a link to the meetup. So there's so many times you go to a meetup and people say, oh, I didn't know. I wish I had known. The next day they hear about it. It goes, I wish I had known. I wish I had known about the meetup. And so now you have no excuse because you'll get an email with a link to the meetup. So that's a great way. The other thing here is the matchmaker, because the world is so messed up. It's hard to find like-minded people. You go in here. I set it for, I have my birth year 2024. That way I'm 1 year old. That way I'm not going to show up in anyone's thing because I'm just doing it for testing purposes. But if you put your age in there and say I'm looking at females, we'll say just this age group, 56 to 65, right? Whatever. And there's one local to me, all right? So if you go, let me just do a wider, let's just say all for now. Search, and here's 3 in that age group, and then you could switch. You can just scroll from person to person. I have it within 100 miles. If I go farther, let's just say 1,000 miles, right? And that you could find like-minded people for just friendship, or who knows what else. And lots of people, takes a moment to load here. Lots of people are meeting, and there's already flat Earth babies made.
Hey,
that's great.
Yeah. So,
but aren't we all?
Yeah, we all are, right? But again, on the app, you have messaging. And I tell people that's kind of dangerous. No, everything, the world is dangerous if you want it to be. You start messaging with them. You just click the message button. You can do video calls. You can look at them. You can see, this person's a little sketchy. Doesn't have any referrals. I say you don't want people that have high referral badges. Then it's kind of like a rating system, and it's absolutely amazing because everyone in here is like-minded on all of the important topics. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. You heard it, guys. Go check out the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac.
You got it right. Yeah.
Hey!
You can find it at flatearthdave.com. That's the easiest way to get it. And I keep saying it any day. We're just having a couple little glitches with the payment processing, but there's going to be an open source version where you don't need to get it from the App Store. You can just download it directly from my website. That should be coming out very soon. Very soon. I keep saying that.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Now, Dave, you were at a debate event that happened last year in Tennessee, correct?
Yeah.
How did that go, that debate, and why is it so important to have public events and public debates and discussion regarding cosmology?
Well, this was I don't know people's motives. I don't know if Pastor Locke is a paid agent, which I don't think he is. I just think that he has some, I don't know, demons in him that might be controlling him. And it's funny, Dean Odell, I don't agree with everything Dean says, but Dean is right on with flat Earth information, and he's the one that pulled up all of those documents that say, flat non-rotating plane. He put a lot of stuff together, and he laid out 41 undeniable Bible verses. And then Greg Locke, when it was his turn, he pulled a meme off the internet of 200 Bible verses that flat Earth researchers think 90% of them are baloney, right? This was just some meme that somebody put out there, and we don't agree with it. It was done by a crazy guy, and he went through that as why flat Earth is stupid. And we started yelling from the audience, like, those are not our claims. Stop strawmanning us. And then he complained that we were interrupting him, right? So it went kind of crazy, right? Like, how come you're not addressing anything that Dean said, right? But here's the irony. I don't know if you guys know this, right? Come back on screen so I can see you. One of the verses you talked about is when God scrolled back the sky and let the waters in, right? Do you hear what happened to Pastor Locke's church a couple months later in Tennessee? So
No, didn't.
the sky scrolled back, a massive snowstorm came in, and his church got flattened. His church collapsed after denying that's what that verse meant.
Wow.
His church collapsed because the sky was scrolled back and the waters came in and literally physically flattened his church. Right? God is hysterical. Right. God has a sense of humor. I mean, it is funny. I don't wish bad ill upon anybody, but I thank Greg Locke for that lesson. He just showed the world, when you deny scripture is going to kick you in the butt in certain cases.
That's awesome.
Oh, man. Got what was coming to him. Life and death in the power of the tongue, and he spoke it. He had to have the lesson, I guess.
Yeah, and it's so many these pastors out there now that are denying, biblical cosmology, which says the Earth is level, stationary, not moving on pillars. Everything else your dad talked about and everything else. I don't know what's going on with them. Are they paid? I don't think so. I think they're possessed. I think we're all possessed. We all have evil in us, that left shoulder talking to the right shoulder, the devil and the angel, whatever. I think that's within all of us, and we have to keep it in check. Some people lose control, and the evil, the wickedness takes over and blinds them to the truth.
Yep.
Yeah, I think whenever we blind ourselves to the truth by distractions or getting caught up in our own little pet sins or whatever, it helps us insulate from the pain of dealing with all the issues we're causing ourselves. And it's just like what cognitive dissonance is for somebody who's holding tightly onto the monkey spaceball religion, which is if they actually look inward at their belief set and why they believe what they believe, and they recognize that there's issues there's gaps in the logic, there's things that they have to deal with. That's a painful truth for people, and waking up is a painful thing to do in today's age. I mean, if people are still kind of holding on to the mainstream mentality, normies, right, of the government doesn't lie to us and it's all hoorah, I think.
Wait,
what would it take to shake people away?
Does anybody think the government doesn't lie to us? Is that really a thing?
I guess. I mean,
I think even the Globers think that. I think.
What would it take to wake people up?
The thing they've dumbed people down, with poisons and the air that we breathe and the news that they intake. It's just garbage. The indoctrination system. they've really, really, really dumbed people down. They don't teach you how to think in school. They teach you how to memorize and regurgitate. And flat Earth research, actually, you have to use your brain. So let's say you've never worked out at all, ever. You've never done anything. You just sit on the couch all day long. You watch TV, you eat, and you don't do anything. And then someone drags you to the gym and says, okay, do 50 sets of, 50 pounds or whatever. You're going to die. You're not going to do well. And that's what flat Earth does to a lot of people. Like, hey, let me show you flat Earth. And you show them all of this stuff, and their brain just can't friggin' handle it. And they just short circuit and they never look back, because it's like that person will never go back to the gym again. So you have to be careful. Like let's look at let's look at this. Okay, so here we have the sun, we have the Earth spinning, and the moon is spinning around the Earth. Right, this is the heliocentric model. Right, the moon is spinning around the Earth. So the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, whatever. And it's traveling 67,000 miles an hour around the sun, rounding up. Okay. So when the moon is coming right here, it has to be going, they say the moon's traveling at 2,000 miles an hour, just rounding off. So it has to be going 69,000 miles an hour to pass the sun. Right. Right.
Yeah,
so
right.
When it's in front of the sun, now we're looking from another angle. So here it's going, here we go. So when it's in front of the sun, in front of the Earth, it now has to go the same speed of the Earth, or else it'll run away. Right? It'll run away.
Yep.
So here it has to slow down slower than 67,000 miles an hour to let the Earth pass it. And then when it gets right here, it has to speed up again to 67,000 miles an hour so the Earth doesn't run away from it. Then it has to speed up faster to bypass the Earth again. What is the mechanism for speeding up and slowing down? And the other problem is, that's if all of these circles were circles and not ovals with changing speeds, right? Because the sun is changing its speed around the sun. The Earth is changing its speed around the sun. So what is the mechanism to change all of these speeds? There's no mechanism. You can't figure it out. But the problem is people just short circuit, and they're like, well, gravity, and they think that doesn't, gravity doesn't even explain it. Right?
Right.
So what is the mechanism? And that actually, for a flat earther, you think about this and it's like, oh yeah, I get it. Try telling that to a normie. They don't have the ability to process the information, and they have to literally learn how to work new muscles to understand what I just showed you. You guys get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what cognitive dissonance is. Maybe that's why what you said is true. Like, nobody truly believes the government never lied to us, but they want to believe that they would never lie to us. It's like, it's the desire for the lie to be true. That's what cognitive dissonance is. It's like, I don't understand what you're showing me, Flat Earth Dave, but I have to have somebody explain it to me so I can comprehend the answer to contradict what you're saying. It's like holding foot, nail, and claw onto,
Well, the easy answer is gravity. Gravity. And then you don't have to think any farther. Just say gravity does it. Gravity pulls it, gravity pushes it, gravity keeps it relative to the Earth, and that motion doesn't matter. But that motion around the sun is speeding up and slowing down, changing its angle. It does, it's like an egg shape, right? And so gravity, just gravity. You can just say gravity and be done with it. And, people are like, well, yeah, I guess it's gravity. They just have word salad, and they accuse us of using word salad.
Yeah.
Now, we talked earlier about the shill topic.
Yeah.
On the other side of the equation, who would you advocate for that is doing great work currently in the flat Earth movement, in the challenging cosmology, doing intellectual debates? Who would you advocate as some good resources for the audience?
Austin Whitsitt from Whitsitt Gets It. He's phenomenal. He's doing great stuff. I'm a fan of what Jaronism does, and especially because Jaron will challenge everything. Now, lot of Christians are very upset with Jaron because he goes against the biblical, not biblical cosmology. He goes against Christianity. But guess what? If you're strong within Christianity, you should appreciate Jaron because he's giving you some contrast to make your truth shine, right? If somebody disagrees with you, that's awesome because it'll only make your sign shine greater. It might point out some things you're like, you know what? I never questioned that. It might be like, oh, no, that makes sense over here. You should, I don't agree with everything Jaron says, but we're good friends because, you know, without contrast, like you can't have good without bad, light without dark. You need, I got the same thing. You need these contrasts. So contrast is really important because if everything was the same vanilla, this place will be super boring. So I think Jaron and Austin are doing great work, and you know, there's others out there that do a lot of good stuff. It depends on, you know, your style of what you like. I encourage people to watch the featured video on the app every day, and then you'll pick up new people there. I also I have some featured. There's a lot of new TikTokers and stuff. I have if you hit the star button, these are some featured channels. These guys are doing great work. Right, this will keep you busy for months. Right, just this section right here, and tons of stuff right there.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah. I think it's always important to kind of help give a word out to the community that's doing a good work and help direct people towards good resources. I think you do that constantly with the Flat Earth app.
Yeah, I've added 2 new buttons. This one is a biblical section, and so we have I'm just adding more and more stuff here. These are different biblical stuff that's in here. Awesome. There's some great series in here, and then the other one with Griffin on it is Old World. And this is, if you're interested in our history of the Old World stuff, there's great stuff in here. My Lunch Break, one of my favorites, and tons and tons of stuff in there.
That's awesome that it has like everything on there, you know? I love it.
Yeah, they're trying to hide the truth, but the genie's out of the bottle.
Awesome.
Well, Dave, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And great meeting you in person, or Jeremiah.
Well, I hope we get to see each other again soon. So thank you for coming on the show, and
all right,
thanks for what you do. Spreading the truth.
I appreciate it. You keep doing the same. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.